Good morning.
Morning.
I will say my internet is not cooperating naturally.
Of course.
So I
Technology
apologize.
is
Yeah, I apologize because it's gonna be glitchy and I don't know why. We have fiber optic. It shouldn't be an issue. So I know it's gonna cut us off and we're probably gonna talk over each other because it glitches a lot.
it's all
So
good. It'll go good. Hey lady.
so hey, Wendy. Hey, Heather. Thanks for joining, guys. Um, I'm 50 pages from finishing. Oh no. That's really exciting. I don't know if you're gonna want to just watch later. Um, 'Cause there's some big things that happen at the end. Um, but anyways, would you like to introduce yourself, April?
Yeah, I'm April. I'm the owner and creator at Tis So Sweet. I'm Tis So Sweet on Instagram, and I make handmade bags and um, pouches and backpacks and all sorts of things. And I do like to read. I have a very busy schedule, so I read whenever I possibly can, which is most likely at night, and then audiobooks during the day if I can. But anyways, I just got back into reading this year and like just fell in love with it all over again. So I love fantasy. I love romance. A little bit of everything. Not spooky. Not definitely not a scary story type person, but mystery, that's okay, like questionable, but scary stuff, nope. I will lose lots of sleep over it. But fantasy is like probably my number one. But yeah, that is who I am. My name is April.
And I'm Sam. This is my channel, A Spark of Sam. But if you're looking for book content on Instagram, it's A Spark of Sam Library. And I have a gajillion accounts on Instagram. I also have a small business, which I just rebranded like 5 minutes ago. Which is Willow Star Market. I did do if you're interested in like our handmade stuff. I don't have anything available right now. It's been a year for me and I apologize. I am very emotional this morning. All things. Yeah, so I do like tumblers, keychains, like accessories, small gifts, resin art, stuff like that. And I have a couple things up my sleeve. April and I might have something you might want to be watching out for maybe tomorrow as
Yep.
something.
And I just realized it is literally something is in my backdrop right now.
Oops.
Oops. But it's there, and you won't know until you know. So,
Yep.
you know, because you can't really
Uh,
see it. Yeah.
yeah, so I apologize because I am very emotional this morning. I like, you know how when you can just like deal with stress and then there's days that it just hits you and you can't control your emotions? That's how I'm doing today. And I'll be honest, I just want to preface this like I am in a major brain fog with the amount of stuff I'm going through right now. And I read the book at the beginning of the month and then have had a ridiculous amount of stuff happen this month and I'm trying to like touch base on stuff so it feels like I'm not like in the program, this is not typical.
Mm.
Um Yeah, I actually found out I'll be losing my job and that my dog needs surgery, which I lost one of my previous dogs earlier this year, and it's just like all hitting me today. So I apologize.
That's
Um
okay.
Yeah, and I'm a very big mental health advocate and I deal with anxiety and I've dealt with depression in the past. And so it's just all something that I felt like I've been able to manage pretty well. And then today it's just hitting me and I
Mhm.
can't control my like emotions. I literally, so I rebranded to Willow Star Market because Willow Star is based on my grandparents' farm. And then I'm like crying about that.
Oh,
Um, just because it's very meaningful, and I lost my grandpa earlier this year. Um, yeah, so I just have a lot of emotions today. So if I read a quote or something happens and I start bawling, just know.
it will be okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I really
Yeah.
am. I
Mhm.
just emotionally can't, like, control the tears today, you
Mhm.
know? So
Yeah.
Um, I've been looking forward to chatting all week. Yes, and I am very excited to discuss everything with you guys. I feel like this is a book that is so hyped and there's just so much to it for a short little book. Um, yeah, if you guys didn't know, we're discussing Divine Rivals
Great.
today
I guess we should say
by
that.
Rebecca Ross. And this is our first ever book discussion. I have been reading for a couple years. Again, I was a huge reader in high school and a little bit in college, and then I managed a dairy farm and just I did not have time to read a ton. And I didn't know of audiobooks and stuff until the past like year or so. And I love pretty much anything fantasy, romance, historical fiction. I should say pretty much anything fiction. I'm not a huge nonfiction.
Yeah.
um And then what else? I do like spooky and thrillers and stuff. I do. That is where April and I differ.
That's like I'm always like, "Sam, you just tell me how you like it, and you can spoil everything for me along the way." Like, that's totally fine. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading the September House right now, and April's like, "Let me know if you like it." And just like the first chapter, I'm like, "Mm, you will not like this."
Oh.
Um, yeah, I'll rewatch it later. Well, thanks for like hopping on. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. If you do have comments later, please leave them because I love discussing books all the
Mhm.
time, and so, when we had this opportunity to start this book club, we're both very excited because we love books and discussing books, and especially fantasy. I feel like there's so much to talk about,
Yes. Yeah.
and April and I pretty much discuss every book and buddy read anyways, so we're like, "We might as well share it with you guys."
Might as well let everyone else know and let everybody else join.
Um, so excited. Thanks, Hope. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's been a year. I turned 30 in October and I've lost 3 people, a dog, my job, and my other dog needs surgery. Well, one of my other dogs. It's just been a thing.
Mhm.
I'm actually handling it really well and I feel
Yeah.
very proud of myself. It's just some days the emotions hit me.
Yeah.
Um sending I okay, I appreciate your guys' responses. If I read them out loud, I might cry. So just know I really, really appreciate all the support and love, and I do plan on, like, creating my own content and running my small business and trying to do things, on my own. I don't know exactly what that looks like right now. Yeah, but it's been a full plate.
Yeah.
Thanks, Wendy. Uh, Hi, April and Sam. My son has a triathlon today, so I won't be able to stay, but I can't wait to watch the replay. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I'm so excited for the discussion. Well, thanks, Katie. I know you'll get to it one day. And you just started Fourth Wing, right?
I'm excited. I'm so excited for her to read Fourth Wing.
Yes. And I guess I didn't do a little thingy for that, but, oh, yes, I did. Sorry.
You
What?
did. You are prepared.
Our November pick, because we're gonna do every other month, is, Iron Flame, the 2nd book to, Fourth Wing. So if you guys haven't read Fourth Wing yet, definitely try in October to get your hands on it, to read it, because and then pre-order, Iron Flame, which comes out like the 7th or 8th of November. I ordered it online, so I won't get it till the 8th, but I know sometimes you can get it like the day before in
Yeah,
stores.
I'm looking on. Okay, it's on Scribd. So what? Let me turn my brightness down. So Fourth Wing is on Scribd. So if you haven't read yet and you do have Scribd, go take a listen. And also, there's a free trial, so you can hop on the free trial of Scribd and be able to listen to it if, you know, you need to do that. So
That's great info. Yes, I love it so far. Yay, I already have this one pre-ordered. Yes. I know it's a huge, really popular book. So we figured, you know, we're all gonna be reading it anyways. We might as well make that our book club pick.
yes.
Mine is pre-ordered. Yay. Okay. We're gonna try to keep this to an hour long total, but if we go over, we still plan on just discussing. So if it naturally goes longer, we're here to just continue chatting, but just to let you guys know if you're like, how long is this gonna take? um, so let's get started with the discussion. What was your guys' overall rating? I I have thoughts. However, I need to know what your overall rating is and if you've read A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, which is like a different series, I guess, of hers than Divine Rivals. And I just need to know your overall rating of Divine Rivals. And then if you've already read A River Enchanted. And then
Complex. What?
I know. If you just wanna do your overall rating, it's fine, but I just have theories, and I need to know if I'm correct. So, April, what was your overall rating?
So my overall rating was a 4 star. Not and in my rating brain, I feel bad for doing a 4 star because I'm like I don't I tend to rate higher because I feel bad. But 4 star because I have like others that are like 5 stars. Like I could read them back to back over and over and over and over and over. While this was really good and it's definitely small enough to read over and over and over, it wasn't, for some reason, I didn't fall absolutely head over heels in love with something. I don't even know like what, can't pinpoint it because the characters were great. Anyways, I'm sure we're going to go into this later. But 4 star overall rating, I have not read A River Enchanted. So this is my first Rebecca Ross. But I loved it. I loved the book. So it was great. There was just things that knocked it down just a little bit.
Yes, I understand. My overall rating right now, with only reading it once, I was hoping to re-listen to the audio because I like reading and then listening to like reprocess everything. Um, but currently I'm at like a 3.5. And like to me, a 3.5 isn't bad. It means like I enjoyed it, but yes, I felt like there was something missing. Um, but I read A River Enchanted and A River Enchanted was 5 stars to me. And I just loved that so much. So going into Divine Rivals, I had different expectations of it when it was called a fantasy, and I started re-listening to some in the beginning, and I loved the beginning. I loved
Mhm.
The way, like, she described stuff and it was so magical, and then I loved the end and I just felt like to me there was a disconnect, but I do feel like she left a lot of that unanswered on purpose.
Yeah.
But I also I it's such a short book, I wanted more. Like, I just
Mhm.
I wanted more, and that's not to say that I won't re-listen to it and, like, maybe bump it up to a 4 because 'cause I'm, like, on the verge.
Right.
Like, I definitely think it's higher than a 3, but I'm just not ready to give it that 4 stars yet, but I feel like the second one is really going to change that for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Um Okay, sorry, catching up. Just placed a hold on Libby for Fourth Wing. Woo, hopefully it's not too long.
Nice. Yeah,
I did read A River Enchanted. I'm pretty sure I gave Divine Rivals 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. I just thought it was so unique and different for fantasy. I haven't read A River Enchanted yet, but I want to get to it.
same.
I was the opposite. I rated A River Enchanted lower than Divine Rivals. See, so maybe it's just like a preference thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Good morning. So good to be here. It's 8 a.m. on the West Coast and rainy. So cozy.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a little early for our West Coast people, but thank you so much for joining. Yeah,
Well, and from what Heather said, she said it was like a different for a fantasy. And I think that was part of my hang up was that I was expecting fantasy. And I did feel the vibes of Chronicles of Narnia, where
mm,
it was like the wartime in the world in the real world with them. And that's kind of the era that my brain was stuck in. Like so it wasn't necessarily like are you back?
yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
My internet is acting up so much that it's not even telling me when it's gone. Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Mm,
I'm sorry, guys. I love technical difficulties.
I'm putting it in the chat too.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I the vibes I was getting was like World War uh vibes, like I don't know, and like to me that's one of my least favorite eras, like World War 1, World War 2. That's just not my favorite. Like when I want fantasy, I want magical, mystical, like all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's why I did rate it lower and why I like A River Enchanted because it's more of like medieval times and stuff like that versus um Divine Rivals. But I did like it. I loved the way she described stuff. And like the way she talked about how in the beginning, like when she walked into the store and the store would change to only what she could afford.
Yeah.
I thought there was gonna be a lot more of that, and
Mhm.
then how, Roman's, like, house would try to soothe him by,
Yeah.
like, doing stuff like that, so I felt like a lot of that stopped happening, like, from the middle to the end of the book, and so I was just confused, but that's where I feel like come the end or, like, the 2nd book, like, I feel like a lot of the questions are gonna be answered.
Yep.
Um, but we'll move on to who is your favorite character? Um, I really liked Iris. I mean, I feel like
Yes.
I just always attached to, like, the main character, and I
Mhm,
really just liked her. I felt like she had such complex emotions, and I loved the way that she was able to talk about it, and not talk about it, and I love the complexity of her character.
mhm.
Who was yours, April?
Yeah, I would say Iris, and I loved that you because I'm kind of the same way as she is. Like, I don't always say exactly. I have a good filter. My filter is really well built, because the position I'm in job and ministry and everything, like I have to have my filter in place or else it just doesn't work in my job setting. So
Mhm.
I loved that she would answer something and then you could hear her thoughts, like how she really wanted to answer it, you know? And so, but yeah, I liked Iris, and she felt things so deeply and, everything that she went through and had to face. So yeah, I liked Iris.
Yeah, and the beginning where I mean, she deals with so much, and I
Mhm,
related to that a lot with this year and what I've been going through. And I just also loved, that they were all named after flowers. I am
mhm,
a flower gardener, a wannabe novice flower farmer. So like I don't know, I loved all the things like with that and just about her and how she felt about people and like that it was complex. Like she has such complex things. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I like them, I dislike them. Like, oh, I really like this, but I
mhm.
don't really like that about it. And, you know, like all the things with her mom and her
Yeah,
brother and all the mixed feelings. And then even with Kit, um, yeah, agree, Hope. I feel like we didn't get as much of the mystical description. It was normal life for them. Does that make sense? Like we got a little bit to acclimate us to the world, but then we were in normal day with them. Yes.
yeah.
I loved Iris and Roman, but also loved Addie. Yeah, I know, like, picking characters is so hard because I feel like, obviously, a lot of us are gonna love Iris and Roman, but the side characters were really strong too.
Yeah,
Addie was awesome, and then was it Sarah who that
it worked.
she worked with? Like, I liked her too. Um, I thought the side character game was very strong, like, and then Marisol,
Yeah.
I really liked. Yeah, there were some strong side characters that I really enjoyed too.
Mhm.
It's a toss up for me. I love Iris and Roman for two different reasons. Iris is so strong and willing to do what she needs to do for herself in a non-selfish way. I loved Roman's personality and way with words.
Mhm.
Yes. Um, one one thing I really loved was like how open they were with each other through the letters and how
Yeah.
they could like, just bear it all out there, you know? And I really liked that because most of my highlights and things I, tabbed were their letters,
Yeah.
um, because there were such deep, deep, beautifully well-written things.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I was not expecting how much loss was gonna be in this book. What loss hit you the hardest? Because I mean, like, Iris loses her mom, and it's such a complex relationship. Um, and, like, I knew it was gonna happen, but I felt like it happened so quickly,
Yeah.
and I also felt like, Roman sharing about his, like, loss of his sister was also very heartbreaking.
Mhm.
And then as you get through the book, when the lieutenant passed, I was very upset. Like that hit me very hard too. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought her mom's loss was really hard, but I feel like the lieutenant was almost the hardest for me. I it
Yeah.
made it seem like this war is a real thing,
Mhm.
and like, this is what's happening, and they're on the front lines dealing with this.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, all the loss that had happened in the beginning of the book, by the time we once we lost the lieutenant and then with Roman at the end, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna kill Roman off." Like, Roman's gonna die in the field. Like, it was just it I was expecting, Keegan or Marisol, one of them
Yes.
2 to die because I'm like, "It's just everybody."
That's also how I felt. I felt like she was killing off so many people that she was going to kill someone really big.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I don't know if you guys like were all hit by all of it or some of it. I am really concerned on like what the second book is going to be like with so much loss.
Mhm.
Um, oop, oh my gosh, sorry. My comments are popping up now. I'm
And
excited
there's
to get what?
you're good. I
Okay.
no, we read that one, just kidding.
I'm excited to get more into the gods in the next book. I have so many questions. Yes. And that's where I was getting like confused, and I feel like once I re-listen to it, it'll explain because it's like they don't live in this fantasy world, but then they do, and these gods are taking over, and it's like this is, April and I were talking about it. It's like, so here's Earth, and then you have the one god and you have the other god, and normally this, like, middle part, there's not a ton of magic, but there's magic there, and then these gods are crossing over and all these things are happening, so now there is that isn't typically. And so trying to just, like, wrap my mind out of, like, how this is, because 'cause they're just describing the creatures, that are happening, but then, like, the music is enchanted,
Mhm.
um, so it's just, like, a lot of things, and I wonder, not to give spoilers away, but I wonder if something, like, about Rebecca Ross is, like, a musician
Oh,
or
yeah.
is very deep into music, because A River Enchanted is about a bard, and
Mm.
it's very big on music, and so for her with Divine Rivals to have, the one god be about music to get men to fight in the war and stuff, I just found that interesting that she uses music a lot in her stories and her books,
That's cool. Yeah.
which I think is a cool take
Yeah.
on it, and I do like that, especially so my husband is a musician, part-time, and his dad, it was like a full-time musician for a very long time, a drummer, so I am not musically inclined, but I love music, and I love the meaning it has to just everybody, even though I can't play anything, I have deep ties to music, and I know how much it means to my husband. So I did find all of that very interesting. And yeah, like
Mhm.
I wanted this book to be twice as long because I wanted more answers right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
That I think that's my biggest thing. I think once I read the second one, I'm gonna like be fully entranced, but I'm just like, there's so much I'm not understanding, and I kinda do feel like with ACOTAR, a lot of people love the first one, and then by the time you read the second one is your favorite, and then you're like, "Oh, the first one's like, I like it, but it's not the second." I feel like that's what's gonna happen with me with
Mhm.
this. Um, Loved Marisol and the brief time we spent with the soldiers. Yeah, I did really I just enjoyed, like, how she liked caring for others, and how even though, like, so much has lost and you have to be so worried and scared, she still gave so much to care
Yeah.
for the people that she had to care for.
Yeah.
So she didn't lose Forrest, but I feel like she lost the brother she thought she had. Very true.
Yeah.
Um, that was so tough because he's so different when she's reunited. I thought Keegan was a goner for sure.
Yeah.
And that's a fair point too because, I mean, she she did. She lost Forrest and she had no idea if he was alive, and then she finds out that he's back and he is so very different and something
Yeah.
is obviously wrong and
Yeah.
something's changed. We don't know what that is. And then she has also lost Roman at the
Mhm.
end too.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of loss. I mean, he's we she just doesn't know.
Right.
And
She has
we don't know what's gonna happen, and that's
right.
very scary, and that's what I was just like, hit after hit after hit, and I was like, "Who's
Mhm.
next? Just line them up,
Right.
come on," like
Yeah. Yeah. I know, and I'm like, I'm wondering if, I kinda got, like, Hunger Game vibes as far as, PETA at the end, like, is Digger gonna, like, take him and against I
Mhm.
can't I have lots of thoughts on the ending.
Yeah, there's just she just left us with so many unanswered questions, which I do agree makes a good book, and
Yeah.
I am very excited, for the second one. They were also hard in different ways, but I agree with you what you said about Lieutenant, yeah.
Yeah.
I also like, my uncle that passed away was a lieutenant in, the police, force, and I don't know if that also just, like, hit me extra hard.
Yeah.
Um, he was retired, but it's still I'm like, "Gosh dang it, these are"
Mhm.
and, I mean, it's war. It's war.
Yeah.
You can't get attached to anybody, and she has made it quite clear that she
Mhm.
will cut a lot of people out.
Yes.
Um, uh, music has to be important to her, that's why I love her writing so much. Yes, I love the way she describes stuff, and she's so, uh, detailed with her descriptions that you feel like you're there, and
Yeah.
I love that about her writing, and that's, like I have a hard time giving it a 3.5 because I really do feel like when I listen to it again and I pick up even more, that it will be a 4. I have a feeling I'm gonna love the second one more, which is really
Yeah.
weird to, like, put it that way, but I don't know, that's just how I feel. Um, so, like, what was one of your favorite parts of? Because I feel like there are so many, like, good moments too, like,
Mhm.
she was messing with our emotions, and, like, one minute
Yes.
we're high, one minute we're low, we're all over the place.
Yeah. Gosh. I One of my favorite parts, like, that sold me for the rest of the book and, like, I fell in love with was the whole wedding. Like, but spoiler alert. But, whole wedding just and the vows and everything, that I loved how it all came about. That was just even though I will say this, even though I still feel like I got more arranged marriage vibes, like, not head over heels, have to have him, have to be married to him, can't wait. I don't know why I didn't get that connection with the 2 of them. I got almost like, I need to because I know I care for him, I know he cares for me, kind of thing. Like, almost obligated, but not like, I don't know, it's hard to put it into words. But so the wedding was beautiful, how it all came about. Like, I loved that.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about it to me, the wedding was very rushed, and I
Mhm.
think that's where I started, like losing it, because like, I understand that it's war and they're scary and they're like, Let's just make these
Yeah.
vows," but to me, it was, like, very rushed,
Mhm.
and I understand it, and I understand that they know each other more than they thought they did face to face because of the letters, um, but to me, that did throw me off. However, I was falling in love with, like, them running together and then,
Yeah.
like, breaking down barriers that way,
Mhm.
but along the lines, I think one of my favorite parts was with the cat where she was like, "I'm allergic," and she's like, "Oh, you'll be fine," and then the cat's, like, in his lap or whatever. I don't know why I lost it at that part. I just thought that was, like, the most accurate thing in just, like, everyday life, and
Yeah.
so many times, like, the guy is like, "No, like, we're not doing this," and then all of a sudden, it's just there, they're dealing
Yeah.
with it.
Mhm.
So I loved that part, and I agree, the wedding was beautiful, and I loved how everybody, like, pitched in and
Mhm.
like, I loved the details of it.
Yeah.
I just struggled as well with that, like, I
Yep.
think that was my big disconnect, that and, like, YA isn't my favorite to begin with, and it was like, they're so young and so much is
Yeah.
happening, but with war,
Right.
you don't know, and, like, obviously, look at he's gone.
Yeah, and you want and, in trying to, like you were saying, put your thoughts in time of war, you want their memory to live on, and you want them to be honored, and you want them to, everything like that. So, know that that's a more special attachment. Like, okay, let's get married. So if something does happen, I can carry on his legacy, kind of thing.
Mhm,
But yeah.
I agree. Um
Mhm.
When saw Roman walking through the field and the alarm went off and she risked to run herself, yes, that was
Yeah.
such a big part, when that happened. I There was just so many emotions, like, I really was worried on what was gonna happen. Obviously, I didn't feel like I knew that they weren't gonna, like, kill him off, but I thought maybe something would happen to the others because of it. Maybe they were gonna lose the house. I was really worried that something was gonna happen with that, but and I also am, it's not like a forced proximity, but like it is because you know,
Yeah.
I did love that part of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, the wedding was just so awesome. I love the office banter in the beginning. Agreed. And then going running, I love how she gave them the wedding they wanted, even though I knew it was making the stakes so much higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from, April. I also just viewed their wedding from a place of simple and innocent love in a time of war, and the wedding night scene was just pure and sweet. Yes, I do agree
Yes.
with
Mhm.
that. And I guess like the whole like his arranged marriage was just kind of crazy. And I don't know, there was times, like, I understand why he chased after, Iris, but I was not expecting the whole arranged marriage part, and I feel like that I feel like there's every little thing that happened that didn't seem like, okay, that, that was a little thing. I feel like it's gonna be a big thing.
Right.
I
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I don't know how to feel about so much of this stuff because um I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but the girl that Roman was supposed to marry from his father are making these bombs?
Right.
And to me, I'm like, how that's gonna play into something, but, like,
Yes.
it just, like, stopped because then all of a sudden, like, they're not even there,
Mhm.
they're at war front and they're dealing with all this stuff, and so I just feel like there were so many loose strings that I'm like, what's going on with all of this stuff? Um, and I'm sure I'm gonna, like, eat my words, and I'm gonna come back and be like, "I love it. I love it all."
Dark.
And like I said, 3.5 stars to me is good. Even 3 stars, it's mean I enjoy it, and I really, really loved so much of it. I just
Mhm.
am like, if I don't get answers with all these questions, I'm gonna be very angry, you know?
Yeah,
Um, I want to know more about his arranged fiancé. I have more questions about her family. Yes,
yeah,
there's just, like, so much unanswered questions. That's why I'm like, she could have made this book a lot longer and filled in some of them
right.
to me. Um,
So I wonder how thick the next book is gonna be.
it doesn't look much bigger.
It's
And I
crazy.
mean, that's A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless are like they're not big books either, which I'm thankful for that she's able to get so much across in such a short
Yeah.
story, but I felt like with Divine Rival, she's like, "I'm gonna leave all of these open-ended questions, and you guys
Yeah.
have to wait." Um,
Just breadcrumbs all the way to Granny's house.
so that's like what did you think of the twist? I mean, honestly, is it really a twist with how many twists there are in this whole
Right?
thing? Like,
I
uh
I kind of knew that we would meet her brother. Like, you obviously knew that that was gonna happen,
mhm.
but how it came about and yeah, was
I
just
I agree. I was not expecting him to be different.
right. I was
Um,
expecting him to still be on the front lines fighting, doing what he was supposed to be doing. Like,
yes. I definitely was not expecting him to, like, be different, and it's like, so what does that mean?
right.
And I just feel like there's gonna be so much more that happens in what's it called? Oath, the town,
Oh, yeah.
because now Iris is back there and she's with her brother, and they made it such a big deal in the beginning that like, people were in disbelief that the war was happening and that it would ever make it that far, and I'm like, "They're bringing this
Mhm.
up way too much for it not to, like, come
Yes.
there." So I do feel like you know, there's gonna be a lot that happens in the next book, and that's what and then I feel like we're gonna get a lot more answers about the gods since
Yeah.
Roman was taken.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how that's gonna work because I did like the part when they talked about, when Roman was filling in Iris, through the letters about the theories and stories that they have about what has started this whole thing to begin with. Like
Mhm.
why this war was even happening, and yeah, it's just like I feel like so much happened and there's just so many open answers and I'm like, I need to find this out. Like I need to know.
Yeah.
Um Divine Rivals is 368 pages and Ruthless Vows is going to be 432. So a little longer. Okay. Do we know how many books are going to be in the series? Is it just like 2 books or are there more coming?
Yeah,
Um
I haven't heard personally. I've only heard of 2 so far. Because I
yes.
mean, we heard that Wing's gonna be 5 books.
Yes.
So but I haven't heard any talks about it, but that's just me.
Yeah, and that's also like I'm like, are we gonna get another cliffhanger and another book, or is everything
Right,
gonna be answered in the next book? Um,
right.
So I haven't heard. I guess I haven't looked into it, but yeah, everyone's talking about, "Oh, Fourth Wing is 5 books." It's like, "Oh my gosh,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
we're only
Mhm.
1 book in, what are you talking about?"
Correct.
Um,
Oh,
I'm just like, "Who are the good guys anyway?" Yes.
yeah.
Eh, I just feel like there's so much confusion with everything, um, because shoot, what was the one guy? It's, Dacre and
Enva, right?
or,
In
uh, I'm so bad with remembering names.
I thought it was Dacre and Enva.
Anyways, yeah, I just it's so hard because it's like our because you feel like Dacre is in the wrong, but, um, she's the one the other one is the one who is calling these men to fight for her, and now they're different. It's like, w so what is happening?
Yeah. Yeah, Enva. Enva, a skyward goddess and Dacre's sworn enemy.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
she like, sh isn't she the one that's calling the men to the war, and that's who her brother went to go fight for? So it's
Yeah, she's, like, using her siren call, so
yeah. So how is that
'cause yeah, because in the beginning, Enva good, Dacre bad, and then the epilogue, it's Dacre and, is he bad or is Enva bad? Who's
yeah,
like Heather said, who are the good guys?
I just I'm so confused, and I think a lot of my, a lot of the reason, like, I hold back of, like, wanting to rate it more is because I just feel like I don't understand the magical world, like, I'm like, "What is" like, I am so confused on
Mm,
what's magical, what's not, what are powers, what can happen, what can't happen,
mhm.
it's just there's not a lot of clarity, and I mean, even with, like, the typewriters, we find out it's not the wardrobe, it's the
Yeah,
typewriters. There's just so many things that it's like, how does this play together? Like, we have this backstory on the typewriters, and it's like, where's that other one?
yeah,
How did it get to be this way? They have to play a bigger part
yeah,
somehow
yeah.
into the whole grand scheme of things. And I don't know if 432 pages is going to answer that for me.
Right.
But overall, I mean, I did really like it. Obviously, there's a lot of things I'm excited to find out about and I want to learn more about. Um I f- I feel like they went from point A to point C and there's just a lot of like this middle part that I'm like what is going on? How does that work and how does that fit in? And I feel like once we get that and hopefully the second book, it will make me just my mind at ease. I'm like there's too much to be like, is that connected? Is that connected? And they bring up fall a lot. Like
Mm,
Iris in her mother's obituary quoted her saying, "Oh, I actually tabbed it. I tabbed it both times they brought it up because I'm like, they
mm.
said that twice now." Like, that's
Must be important.
yeah, there's something, and that's how I feel like, A River Enchanted, it's just like, that's gonna be something, like, um, it says, "She loved the city best during autumn when she felt as if magic could be tasted in the air."
Mm,
And Iris brought that up again when magic could be tasted in the air.
Huh.
And so it's like, what does that mean?
Right.
But then I also think, like, is that what they were talking about, like, with the gas that they were using on people? Like, does that play into something with it? Um, yeah, it's just there's so many little things that I'm like, "Is that gonna be something?" And I feel like when you have a book that has this many things that happen, that she has so much intentions with her writing, that it's gonna lead to something. I feel like she wouldn't write certain things if it's not going to mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's I mean, I didn't put this in here, but, do you guys plan on reading, the second one?
I definitely do because I'm curious, first of all, and the cliffhanger, and yeah,
Yeah, I
for
mean, I'm
sure.
100% gonna read it. I don't know if I'll read it right when it comes out, but I
Mhm.
definitely have lots of questions. I will for sure listen to it before
Yeah.
I read it,
Mhm.
um, and probably go back through. I just feel like there is so much to process. It is a book that you almost have to read twice or listen to multiple times, um, to kinda get your footing on what's to come. Because I think a lot is gonna happen in the second book. I know I'm really excited for it, and I hope these these things that I'm, like, feeling unsure about, I think they're gonna get answered, and I'm really gonna like the second one.
Yeah.
Yes, planning on picking it up with Christmas money, or if Barnes& and Noble does their hardcover sale, or if it's an early pick for book of the month. Yes,
Yeah.
I am curious too if book of the month, because book of the month has it, Divine Rivals, and I'm wondering too if they'll make it an early pick because that would be crazy if they did.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, because it comes out the 26th, doesn't it? The day after Christmas. So isn't the day after Christmas one of the busiest shopping days to begin with?
I
Because
would think so. Everyone goes to return stuff and,
I think it is. So I'm curious if everyone's gonna be in there like buying it and fighting for it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't because you have the book of the month what
Yeah, it would
copyright.
be I didn't even think about that because, like, I like my series to match. So, hopefully, they put the second one in it because you know, that'd be nice
I
for them to
know.
both be book of the month books.
Yeah, I don't have the book of the month one. I got mine through Amazon and I like it because it has this cover and I
Ooh,
love
that's
that.
mhm.
Um Also like random thought, is anyone else like feeling anxiety that they don't have the typewriters? Like
Oh, yeah.
like, right?
Because
Does Iris
well,
have her typewriter?
I think so. Well, and Roman wrote her a letter, so he has his,
But, like, how?
or somebody has his, because his last thing is Iris, Iris, it's me, Kit. The letter.
But wasn't that
So
the one he sent? Oh, yeah, there's so much. I need to re-listen to it
yeah.
because I don't when he was like, get my bag," when he
Mhm.
was injured, that gave me so much anxiety too, because she was like,
Yeah.
"No, no," I'm like, "Get his bag, just grab
Your
it,"
bag.
like
It's right. We're like Olaf. It's right there. Just knock. Just knock. Why isn't
yes,
she knocking? Oh my god.
I don't know how they kept up with all those typewriters through this. Yes.
Running through the trenches with their typewriter, like it's not a laptop, it's a typewriter. So they're just oh geez.
Because then they were, like, writing notes down instead, and then it's just, like, so much. It's like, I the fact that their place wasn't, like, pummeled to the ground,
Mhm,
or Marisol's place,
mhm.
um, just only the garden, which I loved, jumping back to that. Like, there's so much in this book. There's just so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I loved when you knew someone was somewhere, and I did have a feeling it was her brother, but it was
Mm.
also very scary because it was like, "Who is taking this stuff?" Like,
Yeah.
something is happening.
Like, I didn't know if it was from the other side, the bad
Mhm,
people, like,
mhm.
were they coming in to, 'cause they were writing about the war, so did they find out they were writing about it and they needed to find secrets, I didn't know who it was. Didn't expect it to be her brother. I was scared. I was nervous.
Yeah, I that's how I felt, like, I was like, "It's either her brother or it's the bad guys."
Mhm.
Whoever the bad guys are, you know?
Mhm. Right, 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 right.
I wanna know more about the dragons and the hounds too. I know they're bad, but I love magical creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so hard because it's like, are there some good magical creatures and we just don't know a lot about them yet? Are they because they're just pawns in this whole war too, you know? Like I said, it was like no magic, lots of magic, no magic, some magic, and I was just like, I'm so confused at what is happening. Um, and it like, you can tell, like, money is a status thing because Roman had it with his family and his house, and Iris didn't.
Mhm,
Um, but it's like, how does that play into everything too? I just so many questions.
mhm.
But, overall, I do think it'll be more of a 4 for me too, but I do think that the next one is going to answer everything I've been just, like, longing for and wanting to find out, and I'm gonna absolutely love it.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
thank you guys so much for hanging out and chatting about this. Yeah, we like we said, we'll be doing, like, bi-monthly stuff. We are taking a break for October, but reread Fourth Wing, read it for the first time so we can get Iron Flame. We have lots of stuff planned. So keep an eye out tomorrow, maybe. um on our
But
Instagram
yeah,
of some things that are coming, and yeah, I am chained. Like I said, there's lots of changes in my life right now, but that just means more content. I'm going to try to do all the things that I just love, and from reading books to making content about books, crafts about books.
mhm,
I'm a full-time crafter, if you guys didn't know. I like making so many things, like Taylor Swift inspired, and yeah, tumblers, flowers, cows.
so this, she hand paint first of all, you see the glitter in there? So she glittered it first and then hand painted that. It's
Just
gorgeous. It's
I
so
love
pretty. It.
Thank you. I love painting flowers, and if you guys hang out with some of my sprints, a lot of the times in a lot of my sprints, I'm crafting while if I'm not reading, I'm listening to audiobooks. But yeah, like I make tumblers and resin art, and I have lots of great new things. And if you guys didn't know, like April makes custom book sleeves, and bags are amazing. This is
Thank
a book
you.
bag I'm absolutely obsessed with, but she does so much custom things, so if you
Yeah.
have an idea in mind, April can do it 110%.
And I haven't posted about these yet, but these clear bags, that's a Nevermore, and
Mm.
it's like pastel-y, so you know, a little bit of spooky. But from Wednesday, and then here's this really cute one. And then Sam got one that has like black and white flower or black outlined flowers. But anyways, yeah. And then if you were like, well, I like red and black, then I can, you know, I like that kind of stuff because I like making stuff that you like. That's why
Yeah,
I
it
love Sam's requests.
yeah, it's like April just, like, she knows, like, my styles, and she knows my color palette, and she just knows what I want and I love, and honestly, I have like this one. I have stuff everywhere. She made this one custom for me and has, once upon a time little tag there, and the details are insane, like, from zipper pulls to the type of hardware she uses. She just does so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I'm her biggest fan. I feel like book 2 will have a lot of twists and turns. Yes. Is it gonna just, like, keep us on edge this whole time? I have a feeling it will in its own way. I feel like she's like, "Okay, we're gonna answer this, but no, no, now you have all of these to worry about."
Right.
Can't wait for November.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting. Happy Halloween season. Yeah, thank you so much for joining, guys. Thank you, Hope. Yeah, it'll be a lot, I hope. Like, I
Yes.
really I I already have a lot of stuff in the works to begin with, and now I'm like, "Okay, well, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna
Yep.
figure it all out and just wing it." Same, I have a Cricut I use in the craft room, but I know I'm not using it to its full potential.
Mm.
I come next month, I will have had my Cricut for 5 years, which I had one of the original ones with my mom, and we used it for scrapbooking, but, yeah, this I'm all DIY, like, my squished flowers, they look a lot cuter when I don't sit on it, but, this was made with my Cricut, that was made with my Cricut, I have, like, a pillow over there, an apron, there's so much you can do, I love doing it, that's mostly what I do, but lots of, like, arts and stuff in general, like, I painted this chair, it was a very ugly yellow brown color.
You painted it and glittered the
I did.
sides, so it
I
was
did, it's
like a cool chair. On her YouTube channel, she's got the whole thing where, she changed it. It's on yours, right?
no, that one
No?
stays.
Okay. Well, it's out there.
Yeah, I did a whole year of weekly YouTube videos for Auntie Tay, so there's a playlist that says The Sam Show, and I've done lots of stuff on there. So, I love doing it. I'll be doing it more, but thank you guys so much. I will probably keep up with, Saturday sprints the best that I can because my husband's still working, a lot right now because he's a seasonal worker with his job, but hopefully I'll be on there, so just follow along and you guys will know. So
Yeah.
thanks so much for joining me, April, and
Yeah.
see you guys soon.
See ya.